For years, the Kardashians have built their empire on family, fame, and flawless image. But behind the glossy magazine covers and billion-dollar beauty brands, there's one rumor that has haunted the family for decades. The shocking claim that Khloé Kardashian might not actually be a true Kardashian by blood. It's the story that refuses to die. The whispers, the DNA speculations, and the one name that keeps coming up whenever this topic resurfaces: Kris Jenner. The so-called momager, who built an empire, but also allegedly hid a secret that could change everything we think we know about her family. You see, this story goes back long before the Kardashians became reality TV royalty. Before Keeping Up with the Kardashians turned their lives into entertainment gold. Back then, Kris was Kris Kardashian, the wife of a successful lawyer, Robert Kardashian, and a mother trying to juggle her picture-perfect Beverly Hills life. But as they say, behind every perfect picture lies a mess you don't see. Robert Kardashian wasn't just any husband. He was famous in Los Angeles legal circles, respected, wealthy, and deeply devoted to his family. Kris, meanwhile, was young, glamorous, and loved attention. She wanted more than just the quiet life of a lawyer's wife. She wanted to shine. She wanted excitement. And according to years of gossip and countless reports, that desire might have led her straight into the arms of another man. A man who would later become central to one of Hollywood's biggest family mysteries. The man in question? Todd Waterman. A young, handsome professional tennis player turned hairstylist. A man who, according to Kris herself, brought back something she claimed she had lost in her marriage: passion. In her own memoir, Kris Jenner, and All Things Kardashian, she openly admitted to having an affair while married to Robert. She described it as something that rocked her world. She said it made her feel alive again. But what she didn't anticipate was that the confession would ignite years of speculation about who Khloé Kardashian's real father truly is. Because here's the thing. People started noticing the differences. Khloé didn't look quite like her sisters. While Kim and Kourtney shared almost identical features, dark hair, petite builds, and their father's strong Armenian traits, Khloé looked different, taller, lighter, and with a completely different facial structure. Fans, tabloids, and even some family friends couldn't help but wonder if there was more to the story than Kris was letting on. Robert Kardashian himself reportedly had his doubts. Friends of the late lawyer have claimed that he once privately expressed uncertainty about Khloé's paternity. In one of the most talked about reports, a close friend allegedly said that Robert confided in him, saying that Khloé didn't look like his other kids, and that he had questioned it silently for years. Of course, these are just words from others. Robert never publicly said anything. He loved Khloé deeply, and no matter what, he always treated her as his daughter. But it's the secrecy and silence surrounding the topic that made it even more suspicious. As time went on, the whispers grew louder. When Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered in 2007, Khloé quickly became a fan favorite. She was funny, outspoken, and real. But even with all her confidence, this rumor never completely went away. And the more the family rose to fame, the more people started digging into Kris's past. Old photos, old stories, and the name Todd Waterman kept resurfacing. Todd himself, in interviews, admitted that the affair wasn't just a fling. It was passionate, intense, and long-term. He said Kris told him she loved him, and that they were completely infatuated with each other. He even claimed that their relationship continued even after Kris tried to end it. When this interview resurfaced years later, fans immediately linked it to Khloé's birth timeline, and the math started to look suspicious. Kris's affair reportedly began around 1989, the same period Khloé was born, June 27, 1984. Now that's a few years apart, but the public timeline is blurry. There's always been confusion about when exactly the affair started versus when the marriage truly broke down. Some say the affair started earlier than Kris publicly admitted. Others say Kris only confessed to a later affair to protect the real timeline. Either way, it didn't matter. The narrative was out. The world was convinced there was more to this story. And for Khloé, it became an unwanted shadow that followed her entire life. She's spoken multiple times about how hurtful the rumors are. She's taken DNA tests on reality TV, laughed it off in interviews, but the speculation just won't die. Because no matter how many times the Kardashians try to bury it, people still believe there's something deeper. Even Kris's own confessions haven't helped. When Kris wrote in her memoir that she had an affair that ended her marriage, she didn't shy away from the emotional details. She admitted that Robert was devastated when he found out. He moved out. The family fractured. But the most shocking part wasn't just the affair. It was how unapologetic Kris seemed about it. She called it a mistake, but she also said it was something she needed to experience. She said it made her realize how much she loved Robert, even though it destroyed their marriage. That contradiction, the woman who claims to love her husband but cheats anyway, made the public wonder, if she could hide that, what else could she be hiding? The Kardashians have always thrived on drama, but this was a different kind of scandal. It wasn't about fame, money, or business. It was about identity, about whether one of their own, Khloé, was even biologically part of the family that made her famous. And it wasn't just fans who fueled the fire. Even other celebrities got involved. Over the years, media outlets ran wild with supposed proof. Some brought in side-by-side photos of Khloé next to Robert Kardashian. Others compared her to Todd Waterman or even O.J. Simpson. Yes, that rumor too. Because for a long time, another theory existed, that Khloé's real father might be O.J. Simpson, Robert Kardashian's close friend and client during the infamous murder trial. That rumor became a separate wildfire altogether. People pointed out that Khloé's height, build, and facial features were closer to O.J.'s daughter than to her sisters. Even O.J.'s ex-wife's friend once claimed that the theory wasn't impossible. O.J., of course, denied it. Khloé denied it. Kris denied it. But the speculation added another layer of chaos to an already tangled story. Still, the one name that seems to carry the most weight in this decades-old mystery remains Todd Waterman. His affair with Kris was confirmed by both parties. His existence in Kris's life was undeniable, and the emotional connection between them wasn't something Kris could simply brush off. She once said that the affair felt like a movie, like something out of a fantasy. That kind of emotional intensity is what made it believable that something could have happened that changed everything. When Kris and Robert eventually divorced, their relationship was never the same. Kris went on to remarry Bruce Jenner, who we now know as Caitlyn Jenner, while Robert tried to move on quietly. But before his passing in 2003, friends claimed Robert still carried questions about his past marriage and the circumstances around Khloé's birth. Fast forward to the Kardashian era of global fame, and Khloé became one of the family's most beloved personalities. Her humor, honesty, and tough attitude made fans love her. But that same authenticity made it even more heartbreaking when people continued to question her identity. At one point, Kris even tried to put the rumors to rest once and for all. She said that Khloé's biological father is Robert Kardashian, and that the rumors were cruel and ridiculous. But her own past, the cheating confession, the timing, and the unapologetic tone in her memoir made it hard for people to believe her 100%. It's the kind of scandal that Hollywood never forgets. Because it has everything: infidelity, family secrets, betrayal, and denial. Even now, decades later, the internet continues to dissect every photo, every statement, every throwback moment, trying to find clues. What makes it all the more suspicious is that Kris has always been the master of controlling the narrative. She's known for turning scandals into storylines, heartbreak into headlines, and rumors into revenue. But this is one story she's never been able to fully control. You can sense that tension in Khloé too. Throughout the years, she's made jokes about not looking like her sisters, but you can tell it stings. There have been episodes where she refused DNA testing because she didn't want to feed into the lies. There were moments when her relationship with Kris became strained, especially when old stories about Kris's affair resurfaced. Because at the end of the day, if there's even a shred of truth to the rumor, then Khloé has spent her entire life being lied to by the person she trusted most, her own mother. And that's what makes this so haunting. It's not just gossip anymore. It's personal. It's about identity, trust, and a family that has built its brand on the illusion of unity. For years, tabloids have tried to get a DNA test from Khloé and Todd Waterman, but neither has agreed. Todd has stayed mostly out of the spotlight, while Kris continues to run one of the most powerful celebrity families in the world. But as time goes on, old secrets have a way of finding new light. And with social media's obsession with the Kardashians, fans are once again revisiting the past, comparing photos, and reanalyzing Kris's own words. Some have even pointed out that Kris's daughter Kendall once said in an interview that Khloé looks like her mom's side of the family, as if trying to redirect suspicion away from the Kardashian side. But others weren't convinced. Because even if Kris had that affair years ago, even if she says it happened after Khloé's birth, there's still something that doesn't add up. And when you look at how Kris handles her image today, with precision, control, and strategy, it's almost ironic that the one thing she can't manage is the one rumor that cuts the deepest. No matter how many businesses she builds, no matter how many storylines she spins, there's always that lingering question: who is Khloé Kardashian's real father? And the truth is, the Kardashians might never tell us, because admitting it now would shatter the very foundation of the brand Kris worked her entire life to build. But secrets like this don't stay buried forever. Especially not in Hollywood. Especially not when millions of fans are still watching, still guessing, and still digging. And if history has taught us anything about the Kardashian family, it's that the past always has a way of coming back, louder, messier, and more dramatic than ever before. As the years rolled on, the Kardashian family's fame only grew stronger, but so did the whispers. Every interview, every throwback photo, every slip of the tongue from Kris Jenner seemed to reignite the same question that refuses to die. Is Khloé Kardashian really a Kardashian by blood? And just when the world thought the story had finally faded away, it came roaring back with new intensity. In the late 2010s, social media sleuths began posting side-by-side comparisons of Khloé and Todd Waterman again. They pointed out similarities: the jawline, the smile, even certain facial expressions. Some fans claimed the resemblance was uncanny. Others said it was pure coincidence. But the timing of these resurfaced comparisons wasn't random. It came right after Kris made headlines once again, this time for opening up about her past relationships in a more candid way. She talked about regrets, about mistakes, and about learning to forgive herself. But what caught people's attention wasn't what she said. It was what she didn't. She didn't name Todd. She didn't revisit that affair. And for many, that silence spoke volumes. Hollywood insiders claimed that Kris had strict PR rules about what can and can't be asked in interviews. The topic of Khloé's paternity, according to some, is completely off limits. Producers who've worked with the Kardashians allegedly revealed that any time that subject comes up, it's instantly shut down. And that, of course, only made fans more convinced that there's something to hide. But here's where things get even more intriguing. In 2012, Kris invited Todd Waterman back onto Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Yes, you heard that right. She actually let the man she cheated with appear on the show. Fans were stunned. The chemistry between them was undeniable, even decades later. There was an awkward tension that everyone could feel. Kris tried to play it cool, but you could see the emotion in her face. It was as if all the old feelings, all the guilt and memories, came rushing back in that moment. And for Khloé, that episode was hard to watch. Viewers noticed how uncomfortable she looked in scenes surrounding that storyline. Even though the show thrives on drama, this was personal. It wasn't just about TV ratings. It was about a wound that never fully healed. You could feel the energy shift in the family dynamic after that. Khloé became more private, more guarded. Her humor remained, but her trust seemed shaken. Fans who had followed her from the beginning noticed it too, because when your entire life is built on family, and the very definition of that family is questioned, it changes everything. Fast forward to recent years, the Kardashians have reinvented themselves once again with the Kardashians on Hulu. The production value is higher, the tone more serious, but the shadows of the past are still there. Even though the show doesn't directly mention the old affair rumors, fans never forget. Every emotional conversation between Kris and Khloé about trust or forgiveness sends the internet buzzing again. Some viewers even believe Kris's overly protective behavior toward Khloé is guilt-driven, that she's trying to make up for something she can't say out loud. Because think about it. Out of all the Kardashian kids, Kris seems to baby Khloé the most. She defends her fiercely, goes out of her way to reassure her, and constantly tells her how proud she is. And while that could simply be love, fans can't help but wonder if there's a deeper reason behind it. Behind the scenes, Kris Jenner is known as a strategist. Every business move, every storyline, every family post has a purpose. But no matter how powerful her influence is, no PR plan can permanently erase a rumor that's rooted in emotional truth. There are moments where you can see the weight of it all in Khloé's eyes. When she speaks about betrayal, about family, about being misunderstood. There's something raw there. Something that feels deeper than the usual celebrity heartbreak. And whether or not the rumors are true, they've shaped how people see her. Some call her the strongest Kardashian. Others say she's the most relatable. Maybe that's because deep down, Khloé has always felt like the outsider in her own family. The one who never quite fit the mold, who always had to fight harder to prove herself. The truth about who Khloé's father really is may never come out. Not publicly, at least. But one thing is clear, this story will never truly go away. It's become part of Hollywood legend, whispered about in tabloids, revived by every new generation of fans, and dissected by every gossip page online. And maybe that's exactly how the Kardashians want it. Because at the end of the day, even scandal keeps their name in the headlines. Kris Jenner might not ever confirm or deny the truth, but she doesn't have to. The speculation alone keeps the family relevant. Every time this topic resurfaces, the world starts talking about them again. And for Kris, the woman who turned her family into an empire, that's the ultimate power move. But behind the fame, behind the cameras, behind the perfectly staged family dinners, there's still that one unanswered question. The one that could change everything if it ever got answered. Who is Khloé Kardashian's real father? The world may never know for sure. But one thing is undeniable. That rumor, that secret, that scandal is what truly made the Kardashians what they are today. Famous, flawed, and forever fascinating.